Hi everyone, my name is Stephen Burleson and my project is about the effectiveness of CPR training modalities regarding to BCLS and ACLS mannequins. An overview of this is two different types of CPR training. One is classroom CPR, which is generic CPR training as if you were to go to a classroom, receive your training, so on and so forth. The next option is what we call blended, which is a combination of sort of a hybrid assistance with a tablet or PC, then on your own doing this skills check and the computer or tablet giving you feedback. The American Heart Association, they noticed that there was a deterioration in skills. That's why they came up with something called RQI, which is Recitation Quality Improvement. And again, there was a lot of input when they made this from people in the field, and that helped them sort of develop this program to what it is today. This is used with a mannequin, adult mannequin or infant mannequin, and can be used in a classroom setting or the blended setting. The RQI, which this program I spoke about earlier, was developed over a 3-year period. And like I said, there was a lot of feedback given when this was developed by feedback from students and educators. And luckily, American Heart Association listened and helped develop this program. The classroom CPR is pretty generic class. There's an instructor in person and they play a video, and from the video you would do your skills check, not even skills check, more of a practice on mannequins while the person is there in front of you, giving direction, feedback, and pretty much like any generic classroom. So some people need it, which I totally understand. Someone's in front of you and it sort of assists you as far as like you're not going deep enough, hand placement, or so on and so forth. And the course is updated with American Heart Association curriculum with the DVD that is presented in class. The pros of this can be just some people are just used to having an instructor in person to give you direction and so on and so forth. And that's sort of been the way things have been taught for forever, probably. So, and plus students can feel more comfortable and have the more personal touch and ask questions to a live person instead of typing the question in or just not, or being nervous or intimidated by a sort of, I guess, computer. The cons of this can be something that I've encountered in pretty much anyone who's ever taught any CPR class. Or the biggest thing that I've heard complaints for are conflicts. You may have roughly, say, give or take 20 students that sign up for it. And the day of, something comes up and they can't come there. They're sick, or it could be anything. So your class of 20 becomes maybe 8, and that becomes a question of, is it cost effective or a morale thing. It could be, it can affect the class in numerous ways. And sometimes more people show up than that were scheduled. Like you may have around 10 people that say they're going to be there, 15 show up. The problem is you're only allowed so many students per instructor, So then you have to bring more instructors, or you have to teach more, or the person has to teach more classes, which can strain the the integrity of the class, and no one wins when that happens. And the con of it is there's a roughly cultural shift towards electronic learning. I mean, anyone has seen, everyone's seen it at this point. Like, more learning is done with the um, iPads or whatever. Even colleges, you have to have a laptop, so everything's going electronic and more interactive sort of environment that helps people learn better. And that also goes back to the other con, which is operational budgets. That goes back to the possibly ties into classroom sizes and scheduling. If someone pays an instructor roughly, for an instructor go for the VA to go to a class or teach a class, you're looking at around $4,000. So the person goes there and half the people show up. It was a waste of. It's not a waste, but it's not cost effective. So that's where that goes. A blended CPR class is pretty exciting because it is a combination of CPR online and also with an instructor. So, or it can be a little bit both, more so. It's basically at the student's discretion. And the student that has no pressure, it's not really timed, but the student has more control and has more confidence in themselves. And that can also go back to the culture of everything being electronic and the more interactive things instead of a whole binge and purge mentality of a regular classroom. One good thing about the blended class, it's also could be a safe environment to engage in the course material, and it make one person to feel confident and safe in their learning ability when they do so. And the interactive thing goes back to the culture I've talked about a few times before. Everything is getting computerized. I mean, you see everything from adults to children playing with their iPads or iPhones or iPods, interactive games that help them learn. They're learning, but they don't realize they're learning. So, and same things with the CPR. And another thing is, you can create a sort of simulation, which it pretty much is simulation, as of an environment. Like they'll hear a real situation happening and they'll respond, and they can do it over and over and over again, which can tie back to cost and confidence in the material. The cons. This this I haven't seen too much of, but I know I've encountered it and I've felt it too. So some people need a more personal touch. They like the classroom environment. That's always going to be there. They always want someone there to do it, and not someone over like virtually. They need someone in person. That's just the way it is, and probably will be for a while. And another one con is internet connection may not be available. We've run to that more than a few times working for the VA, where our computers may not work with someone else's computers, and or the connection won't be available, and that you're crippled at that. When that happens, you're stuck. You can still do the class with a go back to regular classroom situation with a DVD, but it kind of gets away from what you really want to accomplish. The equipment for the blended environment it's more to develop, and it's around $10,000 for each one. So it can really, it depends how much budget someone would have. So if let's say a facility doesn't have the budget, they have to go back to the regular CPR class or classroom CPR class, which is okay, but it sort of takes away from the cultural shift that's happening and may not engage the learners as it should. In conclusion, it's pretty much no it's a no-brainer that your skills do deteriorate. It's 3 to 6 months. They just go down because it's one of those things where practice makes perfect. If you don't practice it, you can't do it. So they can't tie it into negative patient outcomes, but it's well documented, and they're trying to get more equipment that's more inviting for the learners to do so. And we're almost there. It's like I said, the cost is one thing to take into consideration, but it's the way we have to learn, and I believe that it's going to go away from the classroom CPR to a more blended, maybe past blended, all simulation. I mean, all computerized, which is fine. The example of this, I don't have a picture of it. In Dallas, Texas, there's a game, and they play it to a song, and it's inviting. It's like, oh, this is a game, but you're learning, which is the objective. It tells you your hand placement is wrong, or your chest depth when you do a compression is not there. So I think that's the way it's going to have to go. So they need more refresher training, and that's where that would come in. Make it fun for someone, and once you make it fun, they feel more comfortable and things like that. Even better, they don't know they're actually practicing. They're practicing, but they don't realize it. So, and I think that's where we should go. And I think we're almost, like I said, we're almost there. And it's been a pleasure. And everyone take care.